Green-eyed lady, lovely lady, strolling slowly towards the sun. Green-eyed lady, ocean lady, soothing every raging wave that comes. Green-eyed lady, passion's lady, dressed in love, she lives for life to be. Green-eyed lady feels life I never see, setting suns and
WQAM 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WFLM 104.7 HD3 Palm Beach Shores, and heard in Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. We are South Florida's home for the true oldies channel.
Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring, all for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. All you have to do right now is call 833-283-5050. That's right, just $24.95 per month to secure your home and family. Call 833-283-5050 to receive this limited time offer. A free home security system and professional installation absolutely free. Your Sloman's Home Security System includes a touchscreen keypad, 3-door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access, so you can check in anytime from anywhere. You can't put a price on peace of mind, so call 833-283-5050 right now. At Sloman's Home Security, we believe every family deserves to feel safe, because protecting what matters most shouldn't be complicated or expensive. Call 833-283-5050 to get your free home security system and professional installation today. Sloman's Home Security, protecting families nationwide. Call 833-283-5050 to get your free home security system and professional installation today, or visit slomans.com.
Hi, I'm Sloan Smith with All Year. Do you have a faucet that continues to drip and drip? Trust All Year for same-day service 24/7. Call us today at 833-ALL-YEAR.
Right now at All Year Cooling, enjoy free service calls and save up to 30% off repairs and new AC units.
The content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Hello, I'm Earl Stewart. I welcome you to Earl Stewart on Cars, a live talk show all about how to buy, lease, maintain, or repair your car without being ripped off by a car dealer. With me in the studio is Nancy Stewart, my wife, co-host, and a strong consumer advocate, especially for our female listeners. We also have Rick Kearney, an expert on how to keep your car running right. I dare you to ask a question that Rick can't answer about the mechanics or electronics of your car. Also with us is my son, Stu Stewart. Our link to cyberspace through Facebook, YouTube, text messaging, and our encrypted anonymous feedback service. Stu is also the Spymaster Director of our Mystery Shopping Report. He dispatches our secret shopper weekly to an unsuspecting car dealership. And now, on with the show. Good morning, everybody. I always hesitate to say we're live, but what happens if they run this as a rerun? My apologies to all you folks out there that have tuned in from time to time, and we had a rerun on. As some of you know, our regular listeners, Nancy and I have had a couple minor health issues. Maybe they weren't so minor, but we're doing fine, and we're feeling good. So thank you for being with us, and we've even tried to take some steps that when we do run a rerun, that you're alerted. Hopefully we have solved the problem of people calling the show and not being advised that their show is a rerun. Anyway, we are live, and I've just made it impossible to use this as a rerun, but that's okay because we got a lot of shows. Let me get down to business, because there are a lot of people out there that haven't heard the show before. If you haven't heard the show before, you're in for a treat. I don't think there's anything like Earl Stewart on Cars on the air. And there was a show a few years back, and it was a popular show. I can't think of the name of it now, Rick.
Click and Clack.
Click and Clack, that's what it is. So Click and Clack, really, it was a little bit like what we do here. In fact, Rick Kearney, whose voice you just heard, he's kind of like our Click and Clack, because if there's anything about an automobile, computer-wise, mechanically, robotically, electronically, or whatever other adjective you want to use, he knows all about it. He's a certified diagnostic master technician. And the number that you have to call to talk to Rick personally is 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960. If you're a YouTuber, youtube.com/Earl on Cars, now you can really get serious with Rick, because you can post videos or audio clips. We have a huge following for Rick on YouTube, and these followers, for some reason, seem to be highly qualified, informed, amusing. I mean, there could be YouTube on cars. If we get this group together, they should fill in for me when I'm sick, or Nancy and I can't make it for a live show. But anyway, we've got a text line, and that text line is 772-497-6530. 772-497, what did I just say? 772-497-6530. So what we do is we accumulate the text, and we read them as we have time, if there's a little bit of a break in the show. And toward the end of the show, we try to get to all of our texts. But we love the call-in line, because that's the flavor, the essence of our show, personalities. I mean, we got some people out there. We got funny people, we got serious people, we got silly people, we got young people, old people, we got men, we got women, we got girls, we got boys. I mean, I'm going crazy here, but 877-960-9960. Now, Nancy Stewart, I'm looking at her right now. She's shuffling some papers over there, and she is our female advocate. She's the co-founder of the show. And we have built our audience from practically zero female up to 50-50. And boy, our female callers are really, really interesting. As we all know, in this world we live in, like it or not, it's better in America by far. But, some countries, if you're in Afghanistan, you're a woman, you might as well just go to jail. That's where you are. United States has come a long way since women got the vote. What was that, 1927? Can you believe that? And they've come a long way. And they've come a long way because of people like Nancy Stewart, who understands and identifies with women. She's come a long way herself, and she has got some great tips for you ladies. So if you're a female listener, please write the number down, 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. If you haven't called the show before, she has a very special offer that you won't believe. It sounds too good to be true, but it's not false. It's true. It's too good to be true, but it is true. So try me out. If you haven't called the show and you're female, call, and Nancy will talk to you and tell you what it's all about. Meanwhile, before I turn the mic over to Nancy, I want to say one thing, and I get so used to our mystery shopping report, because for 20 plus years, we've been sending an undercover agent, a mystery shopper, into a car dealership, unannounced, unexpected, to go through the buying process or leasing process or repairing process, to go through what you go through when you physically enter a car dealership. And some of the wildest stories come at the end of the show, the last half an hour, which is between 9:30 and 10 Eastern Standard Time. That's when we do our mystery shopping report. And we have another Mystery Shopping Report. And what can I tell you? You regular listeners know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't listened to the show before, go about your business and just tune us in about 9:30 and listen to this Mystery Shopping Report. You'll never miss another one. Nobody else does this. I don't know why. How many of you remember Mike Wallace on 60 Minutes? I mean, for me, that was my favorite part of 60 Minutes, was Mike Wallace walking in and catching some businessman with his pants down. I don't mean that literally, but boy, did he embarrass a lot of business people. Hi, I'm Mike Wallace. Well, we don't tell people who we are. Our mystery shopper goes in and pretends to be a car buyer and goes through the whole process and then writes up the report and puts the name of the salesperson, name of the managers, name of the car dealership. And let me tell you something, if they break the law, and you're not going to believe this either, most of the time they do break the law. We tell them, hey, ABC dealership in Podunk, Wisconsin broke the law. Now tell me, you lawyers out there, what's that? That's libel or slander, right? Well, how come no one sued me in 20-some-odd years? So if you car dealers out there think I'm not telling the truth about your car dealership, sue me, I dare you, because we're telling the truth. And the number of car dealers out there that are breaking the law is beyond my ability to comprehend. Okay, I've yacked too long. Nancy Stewart, my co-host, is sitting across from me, and she's got a lot of things that are going to be very interesting, not just everybody, but especially you ladies out there. Nancy, the mic is all yours.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We continue to follow the Gallup poll, and we remain at the bottom, and we're working on, changing that. So you're a very important part of the show. You make the show. That number is 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. Our mystery shop came to us from Key West, and you're really going to enjoy it. Ladies, $50 for the first two new lady callers this morning. $50 for the first two new lady callers. So we stay with tradition. We've been doing that for quite some time. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
Well, I just found out, Iggy just passed me the note that Iggy is our producer, by the way, and we're live on Facebook now. We were live on Facebook a long time ago. We became dead on Facebook, but we're back. We're live on Facebook. So I'd love to get a group on Facebook, facebook.com/Earl on Cars. We're streaming live on facebook.com/Earl on Cars. And we, as you know, we're streaming live on youtube.com/Earl on Cars. So check us out. It's always fun to look at what the people that are yakking on the radio look like. And there's only one pretty one in here, and that's Nancy Stewart, and she's gorgeous. But that's true. I'm not just saying that because we're married, but she's also an amazing advocate for females, and we'd love to have some callers at 877-960-9960. And I always overemphasize buying cars. It's buying and leasing. That's the icing on the cake. But the cake is keeping the car going. And that's the reason Rick Kearney can help you. You love free stuff? How about a free diagnosis? You go into a car dealer for a diagnosis, it's going to cost you a couple $100. You call on 877-960-9960. You talk to Rick, it's free. You got a squeak, rattle, or roll. You got an odor. There's something about the car that's not right. Something's dripping on your garage floor. Suddenly your backup camera stops working. You want to know why? Don't go into a car dealership or an independent garage for that matter. Give Rick a call at 877-960-9960. And you'll save yourself a ton of money. I don't think you've never. Nancy.
I forgot to mention, most times talk about being disenchanted. And this morning I forgot. And the consumer out there is disenchanted. And you know what it means. You fall out of love with someone. You fall out of love with a product, with a situation, and that's what's going on today. And we are here for you to help you. And also, it's very important you're here to help us. So please, as I said earlier, you make the show. 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. And again, ladies, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. We're going to go to our first female caller, and her name is Sharon, and she's calling from Jupiter. Good morning, Sharon, and welcome.
Hi, you guys. I do have a minor question, a minor problem for Rich.
Sorry to interrupt you, but if you stay on the line when we're finished speaking, the control room, Jeremy, will take your information, pass it along to me, and I'll write you that check out for $50 when we're finished speaking.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And I believe you alluded to the fact that you wanted to speak to Rick, the mechanic.
Yes.
All right. I'll pass the call over to him. He's sitting right beside me. Hi, Rick.
Hi.
Here's Sharon.
Hi, Rick. I have a minor problem. I have a 2011 six-cylinder Venza, 185,000 miles and going strong. My lift gate works fine when I push the button in the car. When I use the key fob, it works fine. But when I push the button under the Z at the door, it will open, but it will not go up. I have to manually lift it. And it does once the hydraulic lifts engage, it goes ahead. But I do have to get it probably halfway up.
Okay, and when you're hitting that button, you give it a press and hold for a second, right?
Underneath?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it pops up pretty quick.
Now, that's odd one. I would have to get in with the scan tool and double-check the readings coming from that button, the contact switch. But normally, when you press it, try pressing it and hold it in for about a second, and see if it does engage to come all the way up. But if not, we'd have to get in and check the signal coming from that switch. It sounds like it's not getting the proper signal to the computer, telling it to activate the hydraulics like it should. Well, the electric motors that'll lift that.
Okay. I kind of tried troubleshooting it myself, and at one point it said to detach one of the, either the negative or the positive from the battery. I did that.
Yeah, that's basically like with your home computer, do the old turn it off and turn it back on again, and that quite often will solve a lot of those problems.
I think we're going to hear from ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, he loves pulling these up. Yeah, this is for the Windows to reset the power of Windows.
I thought that she was talking about the window.
No, she's talking about the rear hatch.
Oh, the rear hatch. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 ways that you can open that hatch: the button inside the car, the button that's on the hatch itself, and then of course the remote control button. Yeah, I would go with checking that. Press and hold that button and give it like a 1001 count while you're holding that button to see if that will activate that, and if not, it's probably going to be the switch itself. But on a 2011. I'd be a little leery of wanting to spend a lot of money on it because that can be quite a pricey thing. The part alone is probably going to be about, I'm going to say a couple $100.
Oh, really, for the switch?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize there were settings to have the hatch open low or high.
Yep. You can actually program it to where, say for a person who's, unlike yourself, 6'4", you get a shorter person. My sister-in-law Linda, she's 4'11". So if that hatch is way open, she's not going to be able to reach it. So they have it where you can program it.
Is it possible the setting on her?
No, because she says the hatch works normally with the switch inside and with the remote control switch.
I got you.
So yeah, it's going to be that switch on the hatch itself.
Okay, yeah, it's just kind of a minor annoyance because everything else on the car is pretty amazing. So
Yep.
just like everything to be right, but that's if it's too expensive.
Yeah, definitely, Sharon. It sounds like as if you've got a great vehicle.
I do.
And a 20. Did you say it was? excuse me, 2011.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, it sounds
2011 and 185 some odd thousand.
How many?
185 some odd.
Wow, that's something to hang on to. For sure.
Yeah, you're just getting her broken in now.
Yeah, you got so many.
Yeah, my golden retriever fits real nicely back there.
Oh,
That's so nice. That's great. And as Rick said, boy, I'll tell you, you got a lot of miles to go.
Yes, I do.
Sharon,
really
please spread the word that we here, at Earl on Cars, we want to spread the word for the ladies, and you can help us by telling your friends to give us a call here at Earl on Cars. And please stay on the line and talk to Jeremy.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend. We're going to go to John, who's calling us from Jupiter. He's a regular caller. Good morning, John. Nice to hear from you.
Good morning. I am a regular caller.
Yes, you are.
I have a question that I hope y'all can just give me an idea what the best route to take. I have a 2010 Corvette. It's in very great shape, about 50,000 miles. My wife is sick of it. She's very patient. She put up with it for 15 years and wants me to get a Panamera. And I am not going to fork out the money to buy a brand new Panamera, but I would certainly look at a pre-owned. So ideally what I'd like to do, I don't want to deal with individuals selling my car to an individual or vice versa, look for one from an individual. So I'd like to just do a straight old-fashioned trade in my car and find a pre-owned Panamera. What would you advise? What's the best way to do that?
Boy, I'll tell you what, John, you're talking to the right person whenever you're talking to Rick. I'm sure you heard the show last week. He talked about his vehicle.
I was out of town, yeah.
He was talking about his vehicle, and it's up for sale, so I'll turn it over to Rick.
Okay, Rick, tell me what to do.
It's sold.
No.
Here's what I did. I had a 2013 Tacoma that I bought brand new, and I had 189,000 miles on it. My wife and I decided to downsize a little bit. So, okay. Now, really, the only issue that this truck had is that the paint was in horrible, horrible condition from just oxidation and delamination. The clear coat was literally peeling off of the vehicle. So the first thing I did, I went online and looked at Auto Trader and a couple other sites, a bunch of dealerships looking for similar vehicles for sale to get an idea of what they were selling for and how many were available. Then I went on Carvana and I listed my truck there to see, just ran through it to see what they would offer. And Carvana told me that they would offer $7,400 for it. Then I contacted that WeBuyAnyCar.com, and I made an appointment to go see them, and they told me on the phone at first, they said, well, they would probably be around the $7,000 to $7,400 mark as well. So I went to the appointment with them, and the guy, a very friendly, courteous, polite, and very professional seeming fella, he went over my truck with a fine-tooth comb. He had a paint meter, taking photos everywhere, checking the VIN. He was literally almost crawling up underneath it, but taking photos everywhere. And he finally came back and said they would offer $5,500, and that was it. And I was hoping for quite a bit more. So he made a few phone calls. He said, okay, they could get up to $7,000. And I thought, well, all right, let me try a few other places here. Admittedly, I'm an emotional person sometimes. So I went out to Toyota, Southern 441 Toyota. And there was a young fellow there, 21-year-old kid. He really had only been there a few months, but he came, he looked over my truck, he talked it over with his managers, and he came back and they offered me $8,000 right then and there. And I kind of held my tongue for a moment and I said, how about $8,500? And he came back with $8,250 and my emotion hit and I said, you've got a deal. And I walked out of there like less than an hour later with a check for $8,250 for my truck. They were very professional and friendly, very clean dealership too. It's a nice place. So I would recommend if you're going to follow, maybe that process. It's something I've learned from listening to Earl, quite a few places. But you might even want to check with your Corvette being more of a rare bird than my Tacoma. I would recommend checking even a few more places. Check a couple Chevy dealers. Go to CarMax, Carvana, the WeBuyAnyCar.com, and just work it around and keep track. And eventually somebody is going to offer you an incredibly good price for it. Bear in mind that, like Earl says, if you're using your car as a trade-in and you trade your car in, that reduces the amount of sales tax that you're going to pay on your Panamera.
Exactly. That's really why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, as opposed to trying to shop it and then go buy a car straight up for cash.
Right. Well, I would almost try to consider, maybe get an idea of the value of your car by hitting a bunch of places and know what you could sell it for right then. Then when you go in to talk to the people for the Panamera, when you find one, the value of your car for a sale. And, of course, they're going to try to steal your trade. So they're going to try to knock your price way down.
Right.
But if the difference is less than what the sales tax is going to cost you, you still might be better to trade it in.
Sure.
And, of course,
well, I can, yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't, you can always just sell it and then buy the Panamera, and you make out with a little extra cash left in your pocket.
Exactly. Well, you're right. Just kind of play around with it and see which alternative is best. Let me go back, though, Rick, to what you started. The process itself. You said Auto Trader just helps you more getting the value for your existing vehicle. You said you started there.
Yes. What I was doing is I wanted to see how many places had Tacomas up for sale, because obviously a Tacoma pickup is a very desirable vehicle to a lot of people. People like trucks, especially in South Florida. They just love them down here. Same thing with your Corvette. You see supercars on the road all the time. People in South Florida love sports cars. So obviously, if you go online...
Rick, can I interrupt briefly?
Please.
Yeah. Auto Trader is not something that you want to buy a car through. They are definitely, but the nice thing about Auto Trader is all car dealers display their used cars and a lot of new cars, but mainly used cars on Auto Trader. But they're the dealer's friend, and they allow the dealers to go in and play games and tricks with you on the car. So you're not going to get a good idea on the price of a car on Auto Trader. It'll either be a low ball or it won't be a good price at all. But you can have a lot of fun doing what Rick did, and you can with a Corvette. I'd hit every Chevrolet dealer that I had time to drive to, because when you take a used Corvette into a Chevrolet dealer, used car manager, they salivate. They are hungry. They love a used Corvette. You can get 6 or 7 bids from 6 or 7 dealers, and then do what Rick said: Carvana, CarMax, WeBuyAnyCar.com. But I'd love to be in your position, shopping around a 2010 Corvette. You're going to have a lot of fun, because you'll be shocked at how much they're going to pay you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then just to spring to the next part of the equation real quick. to find a nice pre-owned Panamera, do you same thing? Would I look on Carvana and I would pick up maybe a Porsche dealership, for example, in Orlando, or put in the mileage radius? In other words, where would I best find that type of car?
Well, when you stop and think about it, the distance is variable because 100 miles is a long way to go to save $100, but 100 miles is not a long way to go to save $5,000. So if I were you, and you could just sit there in front of your PC or with your iPhone, and you could hit 25 Chevrolet dealerships, and you could ask them if they have a Panamera. I mean, if they when you're shopping your Corvette, and when you go to the Porsche dealerships, is what I should have said.
Same
when you
thing.
Go to
Yeah, I
Porsche,
get you.
same
Right.
thing. But have fun. In 2 hours, how many Porsche dealerships could you check with? And supposing you find one that's 1,000 miles away, maybe it's in a nice place. But you can save $2,000.
Right.
You could fly out there, have a vacation, and come back on the money you saved when you sold your Corvette or bought your Porsche.
And by the way, Donovan here, if you've listened
Good
to the
morning,
show
Donovan.
at all, you've heard the name Donovan. He is...
We love Donovan.
Donovan's like my best friend on YouTube ever. I love this guy.
He has a lot of
Seriously
friends.
want to meet him. He says, on Panameras, first off, he says, do not buy a Porsche from Carvana. He says that he's just got that down flat.
You heard it right here, John.
But he says
Well,
on
I've
the
heard you
Panamera,
guys talk of Car
Yeah.
Guru and all the. I don't
Yeah.
even know what all these are, but yeah.
Exactly.
he says to test the spoiler. You know, they have that pop-up spoiler on it. Test it many, many times when you go to look at the car before you make any decisions. He says it's a common fault that spoiler will fail. He says it's a very complex and expensive thing to repair. So you'd want to keep that in mind, that if that were to fail, whether or not you'd want to spend the money to get it repaired. He says the air suspension is also something to double check, make sure it's working properly on the car before you start looking at, buying that particular one.
We love you, Donovan.
This guy is awesome.
used
He
to-
knows the supercars.
Do people still find a friend, for example, who might be just a independent used car guy and go out to the auction for that type of car? They used to have cars coming off lease and that. Does that still go on?
The auctions really are taking a back seat to online. In fact, the auctions are in fact online now. The old-fashioned auction, they still exist, and we visit them occasionally, but everything's online now. So the Manheim is the big gun in auctions, and they're online now. So you can in fact buy or sell any car you want online on the Manheim auction.
Yeah. Okay. Times have changed.
Yeah.
We used to, I'm retired, but my old law firm used to represent, I did work, Anglo-American Auto Auction. Remember them, Earl?
Oh, yeah, I sure
the
do.
precursor to Manheim here in West Palm. Yeah.
They were not only you had to be a part of the gang out there to buy a car at the right price or sell one, and if it's kind of like the poker game. When you sit down at a poker game and you look around the table and you don't know who the sucker is, that means you're the sucker. So,
Oh, boy.
By the way, one of our listeners, Paul, says check Hemming Motor News as well.
Hemming or Henning?
Hemming.
Henning. Okay.
Hemming.
Hemming.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. What is, and this is my last question, I promise. I've heard you guys talk about Costco.com. Now, what is that? Is that a buy-sell type of thing, or is that?
it's and you ought to write this down. Costco.com is by far the safest and best way to buy a new car. And it's a auto members buying program. If you're a member of Costco, it costs you $65 for an annual membership. If you're a member of Costco, they will show you a dealer that sells the make a car you want to buy that's a member of the program, and they have pre-negotiated with that dealer a list of prices on all the cars. And the contract that the dealer signs with Costco is he will sell a car to a Costco member for less money than he will sell that same car to anybody for. And that means that Costco can audit the books, and they can come in there if they want to be a member and see if, in fact, their members are getting a lower price than anybody else bought that year, make, and model for. So it's absolutely the best way to buy a new car.
Okay, that's that's new cars, yeah. Okay, well, thank you. Very informative.
Hey, John,
the help.
It's Nancy. Stay on board. Earl and I have a great story, and it's all about my Tesla Plaid and the self-driving feature and what took place at Costco.
All right, I'll keep listening. All right, thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
John.
day. Right.
Give us a call again, 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget your anonymousfeedback.com. Now we are going to go to Barry, who has been waiting patiently. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome.
I think this one, thank you. I think this one is for Rick. Today I'd like to ask about overloading a vehicle. Here's an example. The label on the door jamb of a Camry says its maximum capacity is 925 pounds. So let's say a couple of 250-pounders get in the front, and then they're joined by their 150-pound spouses in the back for a day out. That's 800 pounds of beef on the hoof right there, and not all that unusual in this day and age. Comfort-wise, it's not too bad, at least for a while, but throw a toolbox into the trunk, a couple of suitcases, or some stuff from the store, and you've exceeded the weight limit easily. Getting a bigger vehicle or smaller people is not a viable short-term option, and they'd rather not take two cars, so they'll load up and take the chances. So now to the actual question. I understand that overloading can hurt a car's fuel economy, braking power, and handling, and then there's the wear and tear. So how bad is this kind of overloading really, especially if it's just occasional? And what's more harmful, the frequency or the amount? What are your thoughts, Rick?
In my opinion on it, they always err on the side of safety. So they're going to set that number a lot lower than what its actual ability to handle is. And I think you'd be totally safe even with 4 full-grown adults pushing 300 pounds each. Even at 1,200 pounds, I think you'd be very safe, for a short drives there. I would be cautious about doing it too often or for any great length of time, like a massive road trip. Now you're looking at possible changes. And Earl, of course, has got to hear up on ChatGPT, and I agree with just about everything they have listed here. Is the braking distance is going to increase, so you do have to, be sure of your driving habits while you're doing that. Tires can overheat and can blow out, and it can also, it can cause edge wear on the tires because it's pushing the tires down and causing them to bulge out, almost like if you were underinflating the tires. Your suspension can bottom out, which when you hit a bump, if you've ever caught a bump and you hear this extra hard thump when it comes down, that's when the suspension reaches the end of its possible travel, and you get that extra bang at the end.
ChatGPT takes it a little more seriously than what Rick said, and the part that worried me when I read that is the braking distance. So if you have an overloaded car and you're in an accident, say you rear end somebody and they're seriously hurt, and it goes to court, and the police report comes in, the lawyer for the plaintiff is going to say, you had 400 more pounds in your car than you should have, and therefore your braking distance wasn't what it should have been, and therefore you're ignoring this caused my client a lot of pain and suffering. And so you just don't want to be in a case where someone can use an overloaded car against you. That's the reason I would be careful never to overload my car. Not so much, I agree with Rick, I could probably overload it and get away with a lot of things. But if you have an accident and you get involved in litigation, you don't want the plaintiff's lawyer to be checking how much weight you had.
True. Very true. And of course, also, putting way too much weight in the car can also damage the car quite severely. I've seen videos on the internet where somebody tries loading too much in the back of a car, in the trunk of a car, and you watch the rear struts just suddenly go right through the body.
And Rick, guess what? We've been talking about that forever, haven't we? People loading things in their trunk, inside their vehicle, the trunk, and on top of their vehicle.
And carrying too much stuff in your trunk all the time,
it's just too
kills
much.
your fuel economy. So, yeah, it's something I would be cautious of. If it's just a short drive to the airport, you'd be okay. Just increase your braking distance and drive very carefully. But other than that, I wouldn't consider it to be something I'd want to do very often.
Barry, I want to thank you for that question. Something I haven't thought about. And to be honest with you, if you asked me to name the maximum load capacity for different Toyota models, I'd have no idea. I don't know. Oh. So people, if a Toyota dealer doesn't know, it's probably a good idea when you're buying the car to check. And just keep that in mind when you're driving the car. To me, as I say, because I've been in the business a long time and I've been in a lot of lawsuits, I've had a lot of people sue me, and I've sued a lot of people in my role as car dealer. Nobody sued me in my role as a radio talk show host, but maybe the time will come. But lawyers worry me, and I always try to keep myself away from the lawyers out there that are looking for a way to file a large lawsuit.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting discussion. I thank you for it. Fortunately, they put that information right there on the door jamb, so it's pretty easy to find.
Well, I'll check it out. I'll look at my car when we get out to drive home. I might have to leave Nancy here, or more likely me.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barry. Give us a call again. I'm going to mention for a minute to the ladies some advice. I've been in the industry a long time, and don't get me wrong, things have changed. They definitely have changed for the better, but boy, do we have a long way to go. And women really need to protect themselves in this male-dominated industry. It is still very male-dominated. And, there's just a few tips that I'll share with you. And one is to trust your instincts. Trust your instincts and take your time. I'm sure if you were listening last week, Rick and I were talking about him selling his truck, and I pointed out the fact that he had time. He could take his time. And so many times a person will go into a dealership, they don't even belong in the dealership. They should be on their computer, because knowledge is power, and you need to protect yourself, and you can do that by going to your computer and getting all the information that you need to prepare yourself. Arm yourself is what I always say, to go into the dealership. So do your homework. It's extremely important. And guess what? Bring a second pair of eyes. How important is that? I love a second pair of eyes. And ladies, need I say more? You're a powerful group, and what a financial impact you make on the auto industry. So keep up the good work. Give us a call here at Earl on Cars. Share your stories with us. We'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from as many women right now, this morning, as I do throughout the week. And you know why I don't? They're just a little reluctant to call. Not everybody is comfortable calling the show or sitting in front of a mic. So take advantage. Let your voice be heard. You are a powerhouse. Don't let anybody dominate you or the vehicle that you want to purchase. And by the way, Rick, congratulations. That didn't last long that you had that car for sale.
I figure about maybe an hour on the internet total. And
wow.
I had a 11 o'clock appointment at the We Buy Any Cars. And by 3:30 that afternoon, I had money in my pocket.
Wow. Lucky you.
It was...
Did you expect that kind of a response?
I honestly didn't. I was hoping. I was hoping, obviously.
Sure.
And I figured if I kept hearing lower numbers, I would just keep checking around, checking places. But
okay, so
he hit the number. He hit my number that I wanted, and I figured that was it.
8,200.
I got $8,250 for it.
$8,250. Yep. Beautiful. Congratulations again. So back to the ladies. Speak up. You have to speak up and stay firm.
And don't let your emotions take control. Because
I want to tell you what.
Oof.
And Rick had all the time in the world.
Yep.
Don't make any hasty decisions. Our number here is 877-960-9960. You can also text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget your anonymous feedback. We are going to go to John, who's calling us from West Palm Beach. Welcome back, John.
Hey, hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Nancy, something you said last week struck me, and you had said you wish you could meet the callers and meet them instead of just over the phone and the internet. And I thought, how cool would it be to have some type of Saturday morning listener show Christmas party where all the listeners who are listening right now that are able to, get together for Christmas and have some type of, hamburgers and burgers, right near that little park where the dealership is.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little park and that, and just one Saturday, when you have the show, maybe they could broadcast the show with all the listeners there.
How nice is that, John?
outside.
Yeah, last week you gave us so many great ideas. And now this week, another great idea.
And do you guys have a favorite charity?
Oh, yes, we do. Big Dog Ranch.
You got the Big Dog Ranch. What if admission was a gift card to the Big Dog Ranch, and that would be the admission to this picnic?
Okay, John, we got to put you on the payroll.
Well, no, no, because I'm not an organizer. I'm a thinker. I'm not an organizer. We need one of the listeners to plan this whole thing.
I was being facetious. I was letting you know how important your call is on Saturday mornings.
I work for free.
And I think you have to go out of your way to give us a call at this hour, if my memory serves me.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I just left Bible study.
There you go. Yeah. I still have a memory.
Remember the Christmas party.
Yes.
And that. But that's all I got for today.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay, we're going to mull over that one and last week's all your ideas. Thank you so much, John.
The person I want to meet is, I think it was Mark with the Roadrunner. Is that correct? Or whoever Roadrunner is.
Roadrunner Steve.
Oh, we love Roadrunner Steve.
Steve has to drive his car. He has to.
It's amazing these callers that we've never met. We have Roadrunner Steve. We have met John from Palm City, but I don't have time to go through the list of nicknames that some of the callers. It goes without saying, I can't even let you go unless I mention Donovan. I mean, Donovan. What would we be without Donovan?
He's our fifth member.
He's our ChatGPT.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's competing with Coach.
I want to put a face to the name.
Yes, I love doing that. Because before you do that, you think you know what this person looks like, and then you meet them, and all of a sudden everything changes. He's not the person you thought he was or she was. Yeah. Anyway, it's so much fun talking to you, John. Thank you for listening.
Oh, you're welcome.
You make the show. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget your anonymous feedback. You know, I was raving last week about Earl's column. I just love this column. And you all will probably get tired of hearing me mention this column, but the deal we don't talk about. Wow. I was just blown away by reading that, because there's so many of you out there who don't want to talk about being taken advantage of. It's embarrassing. So the deal we don't talk about. And I'll have hit Earl's next column just as soon as somebody, and I'm looking at everybody in the studio, provides me with his latest column that will or should appear in the Hometown News and the Florida Weekly. Anybody got something for me? Rick? Earl? Iggy? No? Okay, there you go, guys. I don't have a recent column. Back to the recovering car dealer.
I'm surprised that no one brought up the amazing news that Tesla voted Elon Musk what his pay plan said. He is getting $1 trillion bonus. Now, it's hard for me to imagine $1 million. $1 billion, I can't imagine. $1 trillion, I just don't get.
Earl, can I interrupt you for a second?
Oh, sure.
Did he get it?
Yes, he did, yeah.
He did get it?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, all week long, that's all I've been waiting for, to hear. I mean, how long has this been going on that he's been waiting for his money, even with all the threats that he has made? Good for him.
So they were afraid that if they didn't vote him the money, 75% of the directors voted for it. And there was the courts were trying to fight him on it, and other people were trying to fight him on it. But the point is that Tesla without Musk, and he said he would leave Tesla without the bonus. But I just curious, how do you folks feel about that? I can't wrap my head around $1 trillion. I mean, you could say he's worth it, but is anything worth? It's just what's going to happen in 10 years from now? What comes after $1 trillion? I don't even know. Is there a number? You got $1 billion?
Not in my world.
$1 trillion. Anyway, I think if there's anybody has a doubt about autonomous driving, I think that seals it. It's you can just, whether you believe it or not, I think you're going to find you will be in an autonomous car in 10 years. I don't think there'll be anything else on the road. And Nancy is absolutely enthralled with her Tesla Plaid.
Whee!
Yeah.
Whee!
And she's she got. I don't have an update on my Tesla Cybertruck, the newest one, but Nancy on the Tesla Plaid, the software download came, and it is mind-boggling.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
I'll let her tell you about it.
I'll tell you what, we just had a ball, and it leaves me speechless. Here's 8 cameras in the Tesla Plaid, and now I have self-driving. Earl and I went over to, where was the first place we went over to Costco. It kind of failed us a little bit, but on the whole, it was 99%. But I had a little problem with Miss Nancy just didn't take advantage of a parking place that would have been closer. She took us way at the end.
Well, before the software update, it didn't even look for a parking place. You had to take it off autonomous. But now, when Nancy gets into her car at our house in the driveway, all she does is hit a button, and the car takes her wherever it wants to go.
Yeah, and the luxury of that is that our driveway is like being on a hill. So when you back down, it's so dangerous. We can't see the traffic to the north of us or the south of us. And there's a lot of hedge.
Yeah.
And it is just, we've been at this location for 20 or 21 years, and we keep saying we're going to get one of those. Rick probably knows what it is. One of these big shields. It's like a glass that you can see oncoming traffic. We never got it.
Convex mirrors. Yeah.
Yeah, the mirrors, the convex mirrors. We never got it. But now Miss Nancy backs out of the garage down this hill and out into the street safely. And it is just, yes, Rick?
When you went to Costco, did you get her a hot dog?
No, we were.
Well, there's your problem. There it is right there.
That was the problem. We're going over to Costco. Yeah, we're going over to Costco this afternoon, and we're going to get a hot dog. We'll see what Miss Nancy can do on self-driving.
Get Miss Nancy a hot dog, and you'll be fine.
I like that. Get Miss Nancy a hot dog. Anyway, there is so many features about this self-driving, seriously, that keeps us so safe and comfortable. And add something to this. Well, you told me not to call it perfection yet. They're always upgrading.
Well, the other cool feature is it gets us wherever we're going faster. Now, I don't mean speeding faster. I mean, imagine if, and this is what Miss Nancy has, that's her Tesla Plaid. A Tesla Plaid has in its memory and in its brain, so to speak, the entire geography of where it's going. So this morning when Nancy got in the car in the Tesla Plaid and put the radio station in as our destination, it saw not just our driveway when she backed out onto the street, it saw the radio station, because all the cars around the radio station, it saw I-95, it saw every road that was going to be taken. So oftentimes with this new feature that Nancy has in her Plaid, it will take a different route. Will be, we lived here, I've lived here all my life. Nancy's been down here for 30, 40 years. So when you get into a pattern, you have a way to go from your home to work, from home to the mall, to the Walgreens. We all have ways that we say, oh, that's the best way to get there. But we don't take into consideration accidents, construction, heavy traffic. The new Tesla Plaid sees points of congestion and steers around them, bypasses them.
Yeah, and what else is great is that I can pick the mode that I want to drive in, and whether I want to drive in a hurried mode, a standard mode, a sloth mode. It's just totally amazing. It's just, I can't say enough about it. I don't want to shake up the whole show, but it is. Rick, besides that hot dog, what else do you have to say? Miss Nancy loves you.
I want to make some comments here. Read out a bunch of these comments that are on YouTube here right now. Let's see. We can get to the right spot here. There we go. Donovan, it's not a bonus. It's a pay package if he meets specific goals. Kim, it's not a bonus. He has to reach certain major milestones to get that money. I watched the entire Tesla shareholders meeting. Please do your research on the pay package. Donovan, he's not worth it because of the damage he has caused the brand. Sales are down all over the world where EVs have a higher percentage of market share, and you can't do autonomous if you don't have billions of vehicles sending back data to train the system, which is what you and I were just discussing earlier, Earl. And Mark Ryan agreed the milestones are quite lofty as well. Ultimately, the consumers will pay for this. Better to keep the product favorable with the consumers. And then they go into a quick discussion about the possible Model 2 Tesla which apparently there are videos out there, but they're AI generated videos. And according to Donovan, he's pretty certain that there are no plans for an actual Tesla 2. And apparently even Elon has said they're not doing a Model 2. So,
well, I respect Donovan, obviously, but I do disagree sometimes. Donovan, if you're watching right now, look back when Elon Musk took over Tesla, and nobody believed him then either. Elon Musk is the genius of our time. He's comparable to Edison and Einstein and a lot of other Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, the guy is he's a genius, and he thrives on a challenge. And the bonus, you're right. I misspoke when I said it was just a bonus. He did have a challenge to meet certain goals. The goal basically has to do with the stock price, and then he has about 5 individual things that one of the 5 he must attain. So he doesn't have 5 specific goals that he has to attain. Basically, he has to attain one of those 5 goals. I can't remember what they are now, but
a million robots.
Yeah, he has a robot, but the stock price is what he wants. What they want him to get up, and that's what he did when he came in to Tesla. When he bought Tesla, there wasn't anybody, including Donovan or me, that thought that it would be possible that the stock price would be what it is today. And today, nobody thinks it's possible, not even Donovan, but I do, that in 10 years, the stock price, or whatever the year time was, the stock price will be there. I read Isaacson's biography of Elon Musk, and the one thing that Elon Musk has to have, he has to have a challenge to do something that can't be done, that nobody can do. That's the reason he has SpaceX. That's the reason he has the first spaceship that's reusable. And that's the reason he will have people on Mars in a few years. So you tell Elon Musk you can't do this, and you have a genius of one of the greatest human geniuses of all time. And I know you're smart, Donovan, but you ain't as smart as Elon Musk. And he will, I believe, collect that $1 trillion bonus. That's my opinion, and I've been wrong before. So we'll find out.
Well, at any rate, back to the Tesla Plaid and so much fun that we had. After 20-some years backing out of the driveway without fearing for our lives because we're on a hill, those aid cameras certainly do come in handy. I respect what you say, Donovan. Earl, I respect what you say. Breaking news, Stu is in the studio.
Hello.
And we're all here together. We have guess what? Mystery shopping report from Key West. Wow. So you want to stay tuned for that. Roadrunner Steve, don't you go anywhere. And John, stay on.
I got a quick question.
Stu has given me the finger. I mean, he's trying to get my attention.
I just wanted to ask a question. So with the Elon, the pay package, so it's not all of it. So he has to either hit the stock price or do the million robots, and there were some other things.
He has to hit the stock price.
No matter what.
No matter what.
And then one of the others.
And one of the other 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that was my question, and I'm satisfied.
Oh, right.
I hope other people listening
Short and sweet.
had the same question, and it answered for them as well.
And as far as the Plaid is concerned, my favorite saying is, Miss Nancy takes the road less traveled, and I love that.
Then I have an idea for you.
Pardon me?
Then I have an idea for you.
All right.
Bring Miss Nancy into Earl Stewart Toyota Collision Center and have it paint it plaid.
Plaid?
Like plaid, like a Scottish tartan.
Like a Scottish type of
like the Stewart clan
Earl
tartan. Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe
we could
just
all
wrap
get
it.
outfits. Plaid.
In kilts.
There you go. Okay, enough crazy. We are going to go to John in Palm City, and Roadrunner Steve will be right with you. Good morning, John.
Good morning. With the average new car now, $50,080 priced, used cars are such a demand, and the person that bought Rick's Tacoma, he bought a history. That's what he bought. He saw the car, the truck was well taken care of, and that's very, very important on any used vehicle. So congratulate that person that bought it, and it's he appreciated. He probably just throw a paint job on it, and he's got himself a reliable, perfect car.
And he can tell
But I want
everybody
to
he got it from Rick Kearney. He's a celebrity.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It's a history on it that it was always well maintained.
Well,
But I have a question for Rick. Is there
Of
an
course.
advantage if there's a major accident on a car and you bring it in to a new car dealer? Is there a big benefit if you choose one that has their own collision center and body shop on the premise rather than a new car dealer that has to send it out to a body shop on the outside?
You think it's a question for Rick?
I actually am going to kick that over to Stu. He's got a look on his face.
Well, I'm just saying.
I think
he
he's
looks
got
like a man
he's got
with
a
an
secret.
answer.
Well, it's just,
He's-
it
he
seems
wants to
be
jump
more
on
in
that
the-
mic.
in the sales end of things, and it could go either way, John. I don't know. I could see. Well, I can just tell you, from our perspective, we do have a body shop, collision center in today's parlance, and we can use that in an honest way to get real-time information on the true cost of a repair. And we do use it that way. If there is a damage on the vehicle and we need a professional, we have them right there, and we can get a cost estimate, and we can apply that into our thinking when we do an appraisal. Consequently, you could have a dishonest dealership using the same technique to our body shop said X, and it might not be an honest thing to do. Dealerships that don't have their own body shops will sublet that out to like a private body shop, or they could be part of a dealership that has a central body shop. But in any case, they might not be using the best out there. I'm just saying they're going to go for the least expensive reconditioning as possible. So they might actually spend less than a dealership with a reputable body shop. You following?
Well, question again to Rick. On the labor rate, when the car is written up for insurance, is there a different labor rate on the mechanical damage that was done on a car
Yes.
versus the body man?
That's a question for Stu.
Again, yeah.
The answer is yes. The body shop has its own labor rate, and it's a fraction of what a service department's labor rate is. And so when the mechanical stuff gets smashed up, Rick has to come in and do electrical things or computer things. That's done at the service department labor rate, which is higher.
But is it also true that I hear the old insurance adjusters that they used to have, they no longer basically exist? It's the body shop that has to do all the video cameras and analysts and send it to the insurance company, so they really don't get an insurance adjuster as such in. They have to do the so-called dirty work and get the approval of the insurance company. Is that true?
There's a lot more work and a lot more tech has been involved in getting claims processed, including videos and pictures and things like that. And the intense involvement of the adjuster, that's not there anymore. But there are still adjusters, and I'm sure. What was the question? Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't. It's changed a lot, but the mechanical things are done by the service departments, and so the body shop will handle the metal and the painting, and then they'll flip it over to the service department. We do have like some things that using scan tools, the diagnostic tools. Our body shop, we've purchased those because it adds efficiencies. You don't want to send the car over back and forth between the two departments. We can see what's wrong on the computer right in the body shop, and some other equipment that the body shop can use as well. But generally, it's split between the two departments.
Is there an advantage of the old system that an insurance adjuster came in as such and he's the one that determined whether the car was going to be a total wreck or not? Is that an advantage or disadvantage over the new system?
I think the new system is much more efficient, and I think it's more honest. I think it adheres to there's actually standards, and a lot of it is computerized. I think when you take individuals and personalities out of the situation, you're going to get a better deal. Back when it was wheeling and dealing, once you agreed, it was a good old boy. They knew the adjuster. They came in, they gave him donuts and coffee, and then he told you what you wanted to hear.
Yeah, my advice to people with that situation, when they feel that their car is not getting a fair assessment for what needs to be repaired, is just to, attorneys love this sort of thing. We can't find an attorney to represent somebody that's getting taken advantage of buying a car or leasing a car, but there's a whole bunch of them out there because the insurance companies got a ton of money. And so if you feel that your insurance company is not authorizing enough money to repair your car, just check the Yellow Pages. We don't have Yellow Pages anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. Go online, find an attorney, and tell them to make a little phone call, and you'll be surprised how much that estimate will jump.
Yeah. And they also, as they go through jobs, I'm sure you know this, John, but as they discover new damage that maybe wasn't seen on the first assessment, they do what's called a supplemental, and they come back in, and the insurance company will pay for more stuff. And also, if there's a dispute, it doesn't end there. Your body shop, if they fight for you, can push for a stronger estimate, and the good ones do, because that's how they're getting paid. Yeah. That's their source of their paychecks. So
ideally, you find a body shop that is a dealer for the make of car you're driving, and if that way, first of all, they can buy their genuine OEM parts for less, because only
and have them right away.
Yeah. Yeah, and only a Honda dealer can buy OEM Honda parts at dealer cost. So you're better off to have the, and you also have the expertise, because usually body repair involves some mechanical repair, and your car's in the same place where you have diagnostic experts and mechanics, as well as body repair people, all under the same roof.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys, for
Thank you,
answering
John.
my question. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Have a great weekend, John. Hey, for a second, I'd like to talk about Earl's Vigilantes. This is pretty exciting. You know, we already have Earl's Vigilantes, and they do a great job. But I think it would be more interesting, more personal, and more comfortable if we were to build a list of women. Build a list of women volunteers across the country who'll be happy to share their experience with other women. It would be so beneficial. It would be so supportive. It would be just a great idea. Tell me what you think. And if you're a good negotiator, if you're confident, if you're fair, you would really be able to help another woman, maybe even somebody in your neighborhood, somebody close by. But at any rate, please email us through Earl on Cars, or call the red phone. Yeah, you can call the red phone. And let's make this something special. Because guess what? Women are special. Right, Stu?
Yes, and also approachable. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we have a handful of vigilantes around the country, and they're all guys. You know, and guys are kind of like,
yeah. So
hey,
let's build
let's
build a sisterhood. Let's build a sisterhood of smart, honest car buyers. You know, you can help me, you can help each other. So take advantage of that red phone or EarlOnCars.com. We're going to go to the patient, Roadrunner Steve.
Me.
Hi, Steve.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The real horn.
Don't annoy your fellow motorists.
By who?
Your fellow motorists.
No, I'm by my house.
Oh, okay.
I could do that.
All right. Bother your neighbors.
Okay. With the body shop, what happened to, got to go to Mako. Now, the other thing was the Yellow Pages let your fingers do the walking. Remember that?
I remember that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, my question is for Rick now. I had an oil change done at Nissan, the new improved Nissan that they recently sold. Same old BS, just a...
I'm sorry.
With that. What was that? Okay. So the guy tells me your battery needs a charge, right? So I said, yeah, okay. So I get the car home. The battery is going to be 2 years old this month, right? So I said, let me go up to O'Reilly because I know the guy. So he says, yeah, it needs a charge. So I said, all right. I brought the car home. I have my old Die-Hard battery charger, right? So I plugged it in, hooked it up to the battery. It hit 100% in like 2 minutes with that.
Okay. Here's my answer.
How much of a charge would it need?
Here's my answer. Hop in your car and drive out to Indiantown. This is best done tomorrow. Now, if you want a really nice brunch out there, call ahead and get a reservation at the Seminole Country Inn. And if not, just before you get to the Seminole Country Inn, there's a little restaurant there. I think it's called the Cracker Cowboy or the Cowboy Cracker. And there's a nice little place there for a buffet breakfast.
Rick
but the real thing that you're doing...
of the great places to eat.
Oh, it's a little hole-in-the-wall place with a great breakfast. But the real thing that you're doing is get your car out on the highway for a nice 30, 40-mile drive that really exercises the car, gets the oil nice and hot to help clean out all the deposits in the engine, cleans out the carbon deposits. It gets the tires up to temperature, and it will get that battery fully charged by the alternator like it's supposed to do.
I use that car every day.
Yeah, but most likely what you're doing are these short little hops. You're driving, like you get in the car, you fire it up, and you drive a mile, 2 miles, and then you park it for a while. Then you get in, you fire it up, you drive a couple miles, and you park it for a while. Now what happens is you're taking a big old scoop of power out of that battery every time you start it up, but you're never giving it a chance to charge all the way back up because it charges very slowly. So take it out for a nice country drive, and you'll be fine.
And on the battery, it says good for 84 months, which I know is a lot of not true.
Oh, yeah. No, Florida batteries are going to last you 3.5, 4 years. But if you get it out and give it a good full charge every so often, that battery will last a lot longer for you.
Okay. Well, in my Road Runner, I got a battery that I bought in 2020, still going strong.
Yep. They will do that.
Superstar. That's from O'Reilly.
But you got to get it out and drive it every so often, and a good steady pace, just a highway speed.
I think we beat that to
and you're
death,
fine.
Rick. I think we beat that to death. So.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay,
There's too many cops on the road. A lot of
that's what I'm looking for, especially when I'm driving in the hurried mode on the Tesla Plaid. Steve, I got some calls backed up. Do you have any other questions?
All right, everybody stay safe and well. Have
Okay, thanks. Thank you for calling. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. We're going to go to Marty. Marty, thank you for your patience. Good morning. Good morning,
how are
Marty.
you?
We're great.
I got a question for Rick.
Yep.
Rick, my car has 2 safety recalls that they don't have the fix yet, but 1 service campaign. And on the service campaign, it says that any authorized Toyota dealer will apply a wire harness protector seal to the HV floor under wire connector. Is that a difficult job?
Not specifically difficult, but it does take a little while to do. And my recommendation, if you have a safety recall and they don't have a fix available for it yet, I would go to the dealership and say, I do not feel safe driving this car with safety campaigns that cannot be repaired yet. I want you to provide me with a vehicle until this car is repaired.
Wait, Marty, do you feel safe?
Yes, because what they're saying is the problem.
Or come, you do it. Listen to Rick.
For my car.
What is the recall for?
Well, Now, the two recalls, safety recalls, are with the backup camera
Yeah.
and the screen, the whatever you call the screen in the front of the car.
The backup camera thing is a software update, so the
Right.
other thing must
They,
be.
they should be able to straighten that out right away.
Marty, we got 2 callers waiting, but I think you got the advice that we can offer.
My question is, though, like they're saying with this thing on the service campaign, is it worth doing, or just, it says you might get mud or snow. So far, I haven't had any mud or snow under my car.
I think you answered the question
Yeah,
yourself.
well, it's up to you. Safety campaigns, absolutely.
Yes.
Service bulletins come through. It's nice to do, but it's not. It's not going to kill you if you don't do it.
This one doesn't sound relevant to our area.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much, Marty. We love hearing from you.
I'll wait till something happens.
Good luck. Have a great weekend.
You too.
We'll talk soon.
See you, man.
Ladies, I have $50 for the next new female callers. The lines are still open, so give me a call. $50 for the second new female caller. We're going to go to Bob, I believe it is, that has been holding. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing today?
We're great.
Hey, Bob.
Thank you for calling On Cars. What can we do for you?
Well, I just wanted to talk about, we used to have a president of the United States. His name was Harry Truman.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a saying was, the buck stops here.
That's right.
Right. So now, what is it, $1 trillion stops here?
That's a funny.
I don't know. I could go higher.
I get your point. I get your point.
It's just mind-boggling. I can't wrap my head around it either.
No.
But I did see a story. A fellow bought a 2024 Land Cruiser from Sun Toyota.
Yeah.
They're up in Halliday, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and $98,000 out the door.
Wow.
And this is when they had limited supply of them. They weren't around. I guess he paid an adjusted market value. And, it had the Moroni label on there and everything. And he took it. He's driving it around. And the light comes on and says, you need an oil change. And he only had it for a short period of time. So he brings it in. And he says, I just bought this vehicle. And they says, well, it's got 5,000 miles on it. And he says, no, I just bought it. It's brand new.
Uh-huh.
And all the paperwork they gave him at the dealership said it had 10 miles on it. It was a new vehicle.
Wow.
And now the dealership is saying it was a typo.
Oh, no.
So they sold him a used vehicle.
They did, and on the buyer's order that he has, if it says new and it doesn't say demonstrator, and the miles say 10, he's got a case there. I mean, that's
what I was going to ask. Yeah, I thought it was. But it's not the first time that I saw another story about another Toyota dealer, not a Toyota, a Jeep dealer in Hollywood, Florida. They sold this girl a Jeep Wrangler, the ones that you can plug in.
Mm-hmm.
And it had the Moroni label on it, and she thought it was new, and she thought she was going to get the $7,500 tax credit, only to find out that by the time she got the title, it was not new, and so she wasn't eligible for the $7,500.
Again, this sounds like something that if her final buyer's order didn't represent what she wore, and they weren't able to demonstrate that, things were if it truly wasn't an error, which it doesn't sound like it. That's a case. When people say, "Oh, the price changed," it's very hard to argue what was discussed prior in the negotiation. But if you have a car if her paperwork says new and it's used, that's a prima facie. Do you agree, Mr. Stewart?
It's just the problem is getting a lawyer to take your case. So
what are they going to get?
But both the vehicles had the Moroni label. You walk up, you look at it, you see the Moroni label, you think the vehicle's a new vehicle.
It sounds like these were demonstrators, like they used them at the dealership, put the miles on it. They officially became, if they were titled, which they probably weren't, then they're just driving those new cars, and they have to be labeled by law as a demo. And there's a check mark on the buyer's order for that.
Well, was the demo still eligible for the $7,500 credit?
Yeah, because it's a new vehicle. Yeah, if it hasn't been titled.
But she didn't get it. This was a used.
Yeah.
They sold it to her as new, and it was not.
Well, what Earl said, if a lawyer doesn't see a payoff in it, then it's hard to take. But as far as a bold-faced legal violation, that's what occurred.
The language is very ambiguous. A new car and a used car. A demonstrator, for example, a demonstrator is a new car. Well, you say, no, it's not. It's got 5,000 miles on it. They've been driving it all over the place. But the fact is, they never titled it. So Florida calls it a new car. There is another law that says if it's a demonstrator, they need to tell you. So they're telling you it's a new car and it's a demonstrator. So it's complicated, it's stupid, and the regulators are stupid, the dealers are stupid, and you get caught in the middle.
There's so many laws. They're not even reinforcing the ones that are on the book.
Yeah.
So let's talk about them.
I agree. So anyway, what comes after $1 trillion? You were wondering what comes after $1 trillion?
September?
I think it's a gazillion.
Okay.
Wait.
Thank
I'm
you
sorry.
so much, Bob. We have several callers backed up. It was great talking to you.
Talk to you soon.
All right, Bob.
Have a great weekend. We're going to go to Bobby, and he's calling us from West Palm Beach. Ward, please hang on. We'll be right with you.
Bobby.
Good morning, Bobby.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I wasn't calling about Elon Musk, but I would.
Oh, good.
I thought I'd remind you of the people who fired Steve Jobs and the people who rehired Steve Jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's probably. It doesn't always work out that way, but I think it'll work out that way with Tesla if they choose not to pay him. That's what they need to worry about.
Yeah, two geniuses, Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, and of the two geniuses,
They're expensive. Geniuses cost a lot of money.
Right. He makes a lot of money. I was calling about a couple of maintenance issues. One, my nephew was working on a BMW that threw a code for an intake cam sensor going bad, so he replaced it, and then not as soon as he replaced it, but just after he replaced it, it threw the code that it was the exhaust cam sensor, and that was what the problem was. But my point of all this is the sensors were the malfunction. The car was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as a consumer, he's a mechanic. He can figure that out. But as a consumer going into the BMW dealer, that's an expensive proposition to get those two things figured out for something that was a sensor problem, not a mechanical problem.
Good question. Well, Rick can correct me on this, but if the mechanic was tricked into believing the sensor, he would find out pretty quick that the sensor was wrong. So if he proceeded to bill you as if he had performed the work when all he did was correct the sensor, then that's a serious crime.
Well, he had to replace the sensor.
Yeah,
and even if they'd gone into a shop, the technician would have had to replace the sensors as well.
Yeah, the question is, would he do both?
Well, the interesting part is that the tech in the shop probably would have seen that before, especially if you take it to a BMW shop, they probably would have seen it before, and they might have known, hey, it's not the intake one because I got burned by this once before. It's this one faking it, because we actually saw this
I'm talking about crooked mechanics.
Now, a crooked mechanic.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Would sell you all the sensors.
That's what I just
That's
said.
the danger.
Yeah.
Right, but it's hard. But as a consumer, you're sitting there in the waiting room, and they tell you that the intake sensor's bad, and you go, "Okay, well, replace it, so that'll fix it."
Would this be something, Rick, that would fall under the show me thing? Is there something they could demonstrate? Like if they come out and they say sensors are indicating this,
it'd be very difficult.
Okay.
I mean, you would get a code that says it's a bad sensor, or the sensor's reading incorrectly.
There's a problem, right?
And you would test the sensor and sell that sensor. But then it may be another sensor actually disguising it, because we actually saw this on Corollas where the car would throw a code.
Yeah, let's let the caller.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, that was he was right. I'm interested to hear what Rick says.
Okay.
Because that's the problem: is you pay for one repair. do you go back in and say, well, I already paid for this repair? Why? I'll just pay you for the other sensor, but I'm not going to pay for your diagnostics.
A good shop would give you credit for that if you had to go further.
Yeah.
So that, I know that's what we do routinely. And so I just really, it's like with any danger you run into a shop, it's you take in the word of what they're telling you something wrong with your car. So that's a tough one. So that's
right.
That's the importance of finding a reputable place.
All the good things that these code readers are for and help. I mean, sometimes they remove the diagnostic out of the mechanic's hand and just put it into the code reader, and it causes a problem. Anyhow, that was my one buyer beware, and I'm not sure how to fix it.
I think it remains an unsolved issue. It's just something you have to be vigilant on. Yeah.
The point that I was going with was we actually had an issue on cars where the code would pop up for a cam sensor, but it was actually the crankshaft sensor that was causing the problem. And because we knew this about these cars, when a car came in with that code, we knew what to sell properly to solve the problem.
I realized that we're getting into a depth here. We got two callers waiting, and we only have 20 minutes.
Can I,
Bobby, good luck.
I have one other thing about a battery, just real quick. So, Rick, with a battery,
if you want it quick, don't ask Rick.
That sounds like a saying.
Oh my God! The batteries fail at some certain level as they're going down on cold cranking amps, among other things. But as it turned out, the failure was cold cranking amps were 750, and they had gone down to about 600, and so it fails. And they tell you to get a new battery. But the OEM battery on a Toyota Sienna has 560 cold cranking amps. So do you really need to get a new battery? How long will it go? What's the answer for that?
It's a minefield out there.
If your battery is starting to get weak, put a new one in it.
Oh, thank you, Rick.
That's not.
You heard it right here,
very
Bobby.
entertaining.
From Rick.
Was that Rick?
Bobby,
that was boring.
do you have any other
Rick.
questions?
That was boring.
Nope,
Rick.
that's all. Thanks. Talk
Thank
to you later.
Have a great weekend. Okay, Ward, thank you so much for your patience. Ward is calling us from Hope Sound. Good morning, Ward.
Hey, good morning. I just wanted to ask Rick. Of course, Rick's getting all the attention today, but I just want to ask him a question.
He's the star of the show.
I have a,
Today is Rick's Day. It's a very popular day for Rick.
3.4 6-cylinder. Needs a new timing belt. It's getting that time. The dealers are about the same price as the mechanic shops. Am I better off at the dealer, you think? Because they get their parts from Jacksonville rather than...
Find an aftermarket shop, request that they use Toyota parts, and you'll get a cheaper labor rate because, like, most dealerships are like $200 an hour right now. Aftermarket shops, you can find one down around $100.
Right.
But just request that they use actual Toyota parts.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was asking. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rick.
Thank you, Ward.
My pleasure.
Thanks for calling Earl on Cars. We are going to close the lines now because I believe by the clock it is just about 9:31, and we have a mystery shopping report. And Agent Lightning did the mystery shopping report from GMC of Key West. So if you'd like to vote on the mystery shopping report, which we hope you do, please cast your vote at 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. That's the mystery shop of GMC of Key West.
Okay. I had to laugh when I saw Key West. That's, I guess you could call them a dealer.
It's another country. It's a small island in the Caribbean.
And before I get into the mystery shopping report, if Donovan's still tuned in, I have to say this about our exchange on Elon Musk and his bonus. I hit ChatGPT, and they said there was unclear as to how his bonus was being paid, that it was the terms were still confidential. But I read a release somewhere, and I'll find out the source. It had to be either the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the USA Today, or the Palm Beach Post, because those are the 4 newspapers I subscribe to. Or it could have been online, I'm not sure. But somebody said that he had to hit the stock price objective, which was like the stock increasing tenfold in 10 years, which is a hell of a goal. He has to do that to get his trillion. And then there were 4 or 5 other areas having to do with sales and autonomous driving goals and things that he only had to hit one of those. So ChatGPT, and I'm talking to Donovan, ChatGPT said that it's unclear how many of those goals he had to hit, but it's the word on the street is he didn't have to hit them all. Whether it was one or more, I'm not sure, but we'll get that cleared up because it makes me nervous when I disagree with Donovan.
He says the biggest part is he has to get the market cap up to 8 trillion, which is an 8 times increase.
Well, 8 times. I thought it was 10 times. Yeah, the stock price, huge. Yeah, that's the main thing. And as far as the individual goals, he has to hit one of.
He has to. By when does he have? What's the 2035 or something like that?
No, I think it's 10 years.
That'd be 2035.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so that's a long time. I mean, if we looked at the whole cap of the market that's gone up in the last 5 years, it hasn't gone up 8-fold, but it's doubled.
Well, before you came in, I was telling Donovan that if you think back when Elon Musk bought Tesla, how they laughed at him and how the stock price was soaring, and everybody says it's crazy, and they're still saying
right. They want to argue that it's a meme stock.
Right.
But no, I came in when you were talking about that. Yeah.
Anyway, Mystery Shop, GMC of Key West, and Nancy and I love Key West. We've been down there a lot of times, and we drive by the car dealership, and it's just kind of funny. I mean,
they're multiple, like, it'll be like Toyota, Ford, they're all in one place, and
they got everything.
But it's on the sides of one dealership.
This report, you got to listen to this. This is really, really, really fun. Okay. It's not going to be useful to you because not too many people go to Key West to buy a car. Anyway.
You get a hankering on vacation, maybe.
Okay, speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning. I arrived mid-morning and was greeted by a front desk gentleman wearing a name tag that said Michael. He never introduced himself, but asked if there was anything he could help me with. I replied that I was interested in pricing for a new Trax, T-R-A-X, I saw on the lot. What's a Trax?
A Trax is it's like a little
small SUV.
It's a small little off-road thing. It's not really off-road, but it's cute.
It's actually smaller than a RAV4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's quite a few of them on the road.
Oh. He asked if I live locally, and I explained that I'm in the process of buying a home down here and want a second car to leave at Key West so I can fly in and not have to drive. He asked where I typically drive from, and I told him West Palm Beach area. Michael then made 2 phone calls to his salesman.
They were home. They were on the hammock.
And hung up to say that both salesmen, they got 2 salesmen, and they were both home about 10 minutes away.
They're sleeping off a rough one.
This is not.
Oh, it's so good to hear you laugh.
This is not a high-pressure car dealership. This isn't Napleton.
Most dealerships, they say, we'll page a salesperson for you. This one, they say, we'll wake a salesperson for you.
So we see who got there first. Oh, yeah. Who got there first. I asked if there was any way he could help me with a price for the one I'd seen. He said he wasn't really able to do that, and that they typically have salesmen go over everything with customers. I said, well, I'm not sure if I'll wait around or go somewhere else, and I walked outside. About 5 minutes later, 5 minutes later, Michael came outside to where I was, standing with a set of keys. He said he was their most basic, least expensive 2026 Chevrolet Trax. and we started walking over to where they were on the lot. Just then, the salesman walked up, took the keys from Michael, and we continued over to the car together. So he got there from the house. He went over the car and asked if I had anything I was looking for, if it had everything I was looking for. I said it did. I didn't want anything too big because parking is tough to find here. He said, I picked the perfect car. He suggested that we go for a test drive. But I declined because traffic was pretty backed up around the area. Now, I can't see that, I guess, because even, Key West is very, very small, but I guess
it
really
really
can get
is.
backed up sometimes.
And
So.
I think it would fit well in Key West because it's such a subcompact vehicle.
So
It's a crossover.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So we headed back inside where he gathered my information for the computer, printed me a window sticker. The one in the car was hard to read to the window tinting. He then excused himself to go to get a printout from his sales manager. So the guy that was there was the sales manager. I thought maybe it was the janitor. I mean,
he could have been the towel boy.
Yeah,
the pool boy.
Yeah,
he goes around and gives them, suntan lotion and.
He was gone for only about 3 minutes and returned with a printed proposal. And so this is almost like a real dealership.
Except for they had a pina colada with it.
Yeah, right. So it lists all the market value selling price. And there's a dock fee for $9.95.
Oh my gosh!
Tire fee for $5, and that's legit, by the way. That is a real fee. Tag agency fee, that's a junk fee for $189. Electronic filing fee, that's a junk fee for $495. So, Key West might be laid back and nobody there in the store and really countryside, but they know all the dirty tricks from the boys north of them in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. I had the tax on there, which I guess is legitimate. I had a tag lien for the tag, $450. Lemon law, that's legitimate. Battery fee, all those little things are legitimate. Anyway, bottom line, $29,582.04. He asked about my purchase timeline. I told me he was available for whatever I might need. He handed me his card, said I could call, text, or email him anytime. He also asked if I was a first responder or military, as they offer discounts for those groups. I said, what did I say? I said no, but mentioned that I might qualify for a Costco discount. He said possibly, if anything, it would be $500 off. Ooh, now we have either stupidity or
I'm going with
lying.
Oh, okay.
Lying.
It could be a mishmash of the both.
Mishmash, yeah. So it's a laid-back Florida car dealer. It's the best way I say it. South Florida car dealers, but it's really laid back, whatever that means. So he says that the Costco would only be $500 off. That's not true. Since these vehicles don't have much markup on them, that might be true. I thanked him for his time and left. So there we are. Very unusual. Teeny-weeny dealership. We see the numbers in our Toyota dealership for Key West, and they sell, what, 10 or 12 a month?
Yeah, a handful. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, so... So yeah,
what's really cute is they rank us by percentage of the objective they give all the dealers.
Yeah.
And so sometimes Key West might be number one, and they're number one over guys who are selling like 800 cars a month.
Yeah. So we vote, and we vote on the curve. And by the way, I have a report from ChatGPT, and I told him this time because in times past I forget to tell him about the curve.
Yeah, and remember, you could vote at 772-497-6530. Your vote is very important to us.
772-497-6530. And
we're in sync.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're waiting to hear from you. And that is GMC of Key West.
Yeah, GMC and everything else. Yeah, that's what's so cool about the place is they got Toyota. They have all the cars. I think
it's the dealership.
Yeah,
It's on US 1, right? I've driven past this. You guys have been down there a lot. But it's not anything like, Rick's got his finger.
I went on their website.
Oh, yeah?
To meet the staff. They have 27 employees total.
Oh, really? That's really small. For a whole dealership, that includes
27
everything.
employees.
That's their office. That's their service department. That's their,
We've never been in a dealership in Key West.
No.
But
Why-
what stands out?
Why would you?
What stands out right now to me is that we have been in a tattoo shop. You wanted to get a tattoo on your chest.
Oh, come on.
Really? Don't do it on your chest. That's very painful.
No. I had a fake tattoo on my hand.
I'll get a tattoo with you.
Oh.
I will. We'll go out and get a...
You go first.
I don't mind. I already got tattoos.
Where would you
I'm
get
not
yours,
afraid.
Stu?
I might finish filling out my left arm. Get a sleeve. Red phones all over
And
it
you,
or
Rick?
something.
Hey, guess what?
I'm
Before
not pulling my pants down for you to see it.
I think I know what it is.
I don't do tattoos.
Right. It's the
Uh-oh.
Rolling Stones
Rick
logo
has
on his
a
butt.
tattoo on his gluteus maximus.
Let's took us. All right, let's get back to the mystery
Okay,
shopping
folks,
report.
let's
'cause-
vote on
yeah,
the mystery shops.
I'm ready.
772-497-6530.
Yeah, my jovial attitude belies how I really feel about the dealership. Dealers almost have an excuse that they have to charge these big dealer fees because everybody around me has one.
Yeah.
But this dealership, and we're going to call it one dealership, has no competition.
Yeah.
If they wanted to be ethical, they could, and they didn't have to say, well, I have to do it because the guy down the road is doing it.
Yeah.
So there is no curve for me in Key West because it's one dealership. And I'm going to give them a D-. I'm not going to fail them. They seem like nice people who get a lot of rest, and I don't want to demonize them, but you don't need to have junk fees where they are.
And to what you said, Stu, complacency, why?
Yeah.
Everybody's making a buck, and I use the term loosely. The dealers are making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be fair.
And it also annoyed me because I also imagine if I owned Key West Toyota, I would work with a travel agency to come up with car buying vacation packages. You come in, you have the cheapest vacation you ever have, and you leave with a car. Anyway, I'm kidding. So D- for
digress.
me. Yeah, I digress. But
Okay.
D- for me.
Okay, we've got Bob from Maryland says, when Michael made his phone call to get a salesman, was he calling into a conch cell? Maybe it's a C. Tim Gilliland says, nothing special here, C. Tom Steckel says, C. No addendum. $1,700 in junk fees is average for South Florida. Cram says, usual junk fees, don't make the trip. F. Are you going to vacation? Are you going on vacation to buy a car? Well, that's actually Stu's idea. Mark Smith says C for this dealership. Johnny Z. Fradley, C for Conch Republic. I heard the lemon law doesn't apply in Key West dealers, but the key lime law does.
The what law?
I love that.
The key lime law.
If they were clever, they would put that on their buyer's order.
I think there's a ganja law down there
Brian Sedlatko
with
says,
the key lime.
considering where you're at, this would be average. C. Kim says, I've been to a motorcycle shop in Key West. It's called Keys Cycle. I don't think it's there anymore. Oh, but she didn't give us a grade. Kim, come on. Mark Smith laughing. And there it is. Kim gives a D for the mystery shop. Myself, I mean, your next nearest competition is like 80 miles north in Miami.
Yeah, Homestead.
Why would you not just have a flat price? Here's the price, that's
Right.
what it is. And get rid of all the junk fees.
It doesn't have to be complicated. As a matter of fact,
You're-
that's the best place for a one-price dealership.
Exactly. And it would be perfect for it. So yeah, I'm agreeing with Kim. I say it's a D.
Yeah, good. I like the lower ones today.
You know, I tell you what, I'll give my grade, but after your exchange there, it made me think, if I had that dealership, I would do the opposite. I would sell cars at a very low price net over actual cost. And because they had the full line of all cars, I would be dragging people down from Miami. So I would combine it with a free vacation in Key West.
Yeah.
And whether you want to buy a Ford or a Toyota or a Honda, I've got no overhead. I've got no building. All I would have is I could just keep the people I had, 12 people, and they could write out the...
and you could ship vehicles.
Yeah, ship vehicles, ship them back. My grade on that would be, I would go with I'm gonna do a C minus, and I'll tell you what Coach's grade was when we get finished.
I want to know what happened to giving out free steak knives. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my vote would be a D minus.
D as in dog? D as in dog?
D as in
Oh, C as in...
Dougie.
Dougie.
Oh.
As Doug, like her middle name.
Okay. We got the votes, all the votes in. Interestingly enough, we got an overall score of C from Coach, and he broke it down into all the different categories. Initial greeting and engagement, C minus. Sales process, C plus. Transparency and pricing, B minus. Professionalism, C. Environment, B. That's a good difference.
I should get an A for the environment.
Yeah. Overall, C. So that's the first really good, thank you, ChatGPT, wherever you are. That was a pretty good report, we thought.
Okay, we have any votes from anyone else?
Iggy, you want to vote?
I'm going today to test drive.
We got time to go to some text.
I have Anne-Marie's right here. She says, good morning. Last week I asked if cars could get hacked since they are rolling computers, and you said yes. I have a few follow-up questions. What's the best way to avoid getting hacked? How do you fix a car that's been hacked? And how can you tell a car that's been hacked from a car that has a problem that requires a software update?
Buy a car that was built in 1980. You can't get hacked. I don't think the hacking situation is right now like a widespread issue, and I don't know how many vehicles can actually be hacked. I know it's happened, and hackers have demonstrated it, but I don't think it's something you really have to worry about. If your car did get hacked, the only thing I can imagine it would go to a manufacturer's service department to fix the computer or replace the computer. You're not going to bring it to Best Buy or call the Geek Squad, but you're going to bring it to someone.
Well, to correct one thing you said, any car can be hacked.
Yeah.
I think, but you're absolutely right about the fact that it's highly unlikely. The reason being that hackers are, it's like a profession.
Yeah, there's no payoff.
Firemen, scientists, hackers are extremely brilliant people. They're crazy and they're evil oftentimes, but they're brilliant. So a hacker wants a challenge. And there's not much of a challenge, to hack a RAV4.
Yeah, to hack Anne-Marie's car wouldn't get any press.
Any press at all.
Here's what I see on it. The number one way that you're going to hack a car, really a car computer, is by interrupting the signal from the remote, your keyless remote, and the car, especially with push-start systems and what's called smart key systems. And this is so they can, even just to access the car, to steal what's inside it. The number one thing is, when you park your car, don't keep the key too close to the car. Like if you park directly in front of your house, don't hang the key right next to the front door.
Because it's using the remote.
Put it a couple rooms away, so it's like 100 feet away. If you park in a garage, don't leave the key hanging in the garage.
A small Faraday cage, like a can of tuna fish?
Well, you wouldn't necessarily need that, but just put it somewhere away from the car.
Bone, but like something that was enclosed in metal, doesn't that like block antenna signals?
It can, yes. A microwave oven will block them. You just throw it inside a microwave.
There you go.
Don't use it, but the point is, and especially this is something that's actually helpful for a lot of folks that do park in the garage, and then they'll hang their key on the wall right near the car. that key is still communicating with the car.
You run your battery.
And it will actually run down the battery in the remote first, because that's a tiny little battery.
Yeah.
And it can run down the battery in the car over time. So just make sure you have the keys separate, because that way anyone coming around with a scanner is not going to pick up those radio frequency signals and be able to copy them like onto a device called a flipper.
Now, don't, like garage doors, they have a rotating code, so those things don't work. Do cars have something similar that would prevent that?
They do have a similar system, but
they could be defeated.
Say if you had a device called a flipper, these actually can record those radio frequency signals, and then they can actually copy that rolling code, and it will still, they'll be able to open your garage door.
So it's not a series of random generated codes. It's a
No.
rolling number, fixed number of codes.
And it can, these devices
has to
can
match
predict
up at
that.
the right. Okay.
Same
I
thing
get
as like the remotes that will open the gate on gated communities for a lot of folks. Anything
There-
radio
I just-
frequency like that can
I
be
just
copied.
checked with Chad GBT. There are many other ways to hack a car than through the keyless remote.
Oh yes, but I'm just saying the most common one.
Yeah, the one that would probably
the
most likely
easiest,
affect.
right?
Yeah.
Easiest,
The
and
one
most
that Emery
accessible.
might most likely face would be a theft using
Right.
something like that. Yeah, when I was thinking of hacking, I was thinking of some remote guy taking over a car, driving it around town, and crashing it into something. So
Yeah, no, it's
that's
more
the
it's more
movie-
along the lines of getting access to the car to steal
Yeah.
from the car.
Common criminals.
Right.
Okay.
And it's things like, Porsche for a while, certain Porsche models, you could actually remove the headlight from the car without even accessing the inside of the car. And those headlights sell for like a couple $1,000s
Just walk
each.
up and unscrew it.
you actually, there's a way to remove the entire headlight assembly, and then you snag these off that car.
That's a low-tech hack.
And sell it to a body shop.
Yeah.
And the body shop gives you $500. They charge the customer $3,000.
Okay, we beat that to death.
That's hack it.
Yeah, we beat that to death. In fact, I think, I'm going to move the body out of the studio.
There's a body in here?
It's a dead horse under the desk.
Oh, the
Well,
horse is the
I
body.
didn't, hear
I
what
get
you,
it.
I didn't have my earbuds in. What did you say?
I said it's time to wrap up the show, I think.
That's right. It
Wrap up.
definitely is.
Well,
Let's
we
wrap it up.
began with introductions.
It's amazing. My earbuds work 100% in the beginning of the show, and probably 3/4 of the way through, they're just not as well. They don't function like they did when the show started. Anyway, I want to take a moment to thank all of you for tuning in to Earl on Cars. We definitely appreciate your company, and you do make the show. Donovan, a shout out to you. Thank you so much for every week sharing your opinion, your comments, and to everyone else, Marty and Steve and just the whole crew. We love you guys, and we wish you all a great weekend. We'll be right back here next Saturday, same time, the Oldies Channel at 8 a.m. Have a great weekend. Thank you.